everybody. Welcome back to the WTF1 podcast. My name is Matthew Gallagher, and joining me is
Tommy.
Dan.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say Jess.
Just the
But that's not
just
my
the
name.
banter.
But you could have been Jess just for that one moment. Anyway, hello and welcome. We're going to talk about the 2019 Russian. No, we're not. I wrote it's there, and I was like, that's wrong. And I still
I'm
said
Ron
it.
Burgundy.
The Japanese Grand Prix. And, well, we didn't even know if we'd be sat here today talking about a Grand Prix, did we? Because, well,
I forgot how to
Typhoon.
sit this morning, so I might have had to stand.
that wasn't what I was quite alluding to. It
Oh,
was
really?
more the Typhoon Hagibis. Is it Hagibis?
The Gibis.
Hagibis.
Yeah.
Hagibis. I don't know. But either way, let's do some three-word race reviews from the Japan. I wrote Japan Grand Prix, the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yep.
Fans, Matty Johnson 17. Worth waking up. Daniel Orr signs fifth again. Fabi 6_. Lewis, it's James. And Vincent _photographer_ wish it rained. A few different three-word race reviews. Obviously, a lot of these guys, especially the ones from Europe, would have been very tired probably watching these races and maybe a little bit grouchy. But it seems like everyone's at least half happy with it, or they wish it rained. I think we all thought it would probably be raining, considering there's a typhoon in the area. But
It was strange seeing the pictures of Japan afterwards, and it, just having beautiful blue sky, and you wouldn't have known the chaos that had occurred. I mean, they packed pretty much everything down, and I was concerned that they would probably not do qualifying, because essentially you have the Thursday where they're setting everything up. Friday they did practice. Friday evening they obviously packed everything down because the typhoon was hitting, and then had to repack it all again. And could have quite easily, putting the two things on the same day was a bold call, but
it has to be done, doesn't it? You can't just have
Yeah.
things flying around, especially when they're temporary structures.
It was,
yeah.
It was nice for once as well to see them being proactive about the decision and not just sitting trying to do qualifying in a typhoon, like people just talking for hours and just wondering, oh, well, after sitting for 3 hours and watching this, it's been postponed to tomorrow after all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like-
they actually made a decision before Saturday.
Yeah,
Because-
like a lot of, was it Kota a few years ago, that you knew there was going to be this horrendous weather and they delayed it. Everyone was sat in the stand. It's still raining. Shock, they're not going out. It's getting worse. It's wetter. Wow, they're still not going out. Who would have thought when it's raining still? It's just, of course, that's going to happen.
Of course it's going to happen. And Dan, Kamoa t-shirt, loving it.
Yeah.
Whereabouts did you get that from? And whilst you do that, I'm just going to go turn the aircon off because I don't know if it's being picked up on the
When did you
microphone.
do that?
What's the Kamoa shirt from?
It's from the Kamoa website. Would you believe it?
This is not in any way sponsored by Kamoa, by the way.
No.
Oh, that's a lot
And he's
quieter now.
back in the room. Hello and welcome. Right, Dan, let's talk about your three-word race review because I think it tees us up nicely.
Yeah. Super Sunday rocks.
Why does Super Sunday rock, Dan?
Because I really enjoyed, even though I had to get up at 2 a.m. and then stayed awake for far too long, I really enjoyed having qualifying in the race on the same day.
Yeah, I didn't get up for qualifying, nowhere near.
Didn't get up for the race either, did you?
Well, I thought I had, but I told myself it was 7:10 rather
Interesting.
than 6:10.
We went for 3 different strategies then, because I got up for qualifying, went back to bed, and then got up for the race. So we
Got up for qualifying. Oh,
so we split our strategy between the 3 of us.
I went for the no stopper, so I should have some sort of penalty or something.
Yeah, I went for a 1 stop,
and I
you
went for a prolonged 1 stop. I went onto the hard tyre. I don't. Either way, so at CFC_Craig says, should qualifying in the race be on the same day? For Japan, no, please don't, because 2 a.m. I mean, we kind of had the struggles of what people in Australia have every single race weekend.
Yeah,
so
we
we
moan
can't.
about it like once or twice a year, but for
Yeah.
a lot of fans, that's like 18 races a year. Like,
Yeah, and the majority of ours is 2 or 1 in the afternoon, and it's really not that bad at all. But for me, yeah, definitely. I actually really enjoyed, again, like this whole just action-packed Sunday. It was, it's almost like, Super Sunday, like football, it's big games, and, you can watch one game then another game. It's like watching qualifying and the race. You had 2 things to look forward to.
I really enjoyed the jeopardy of it as well. So, like, qualifying, it didn't just matter for the grid, because if something happened, and like we saw Kubica and Magnussen crash, it was like, oh, is that going to affect their race?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like at Monaco when you have FP3 and it's a critical session, because if you make a mistake in that, it affects your qualifying. I felt like it was kind of the same sort of thing with qualifying in the race.
Yeah.
The same day.
I mean, it adds jeopardy, but I think at the same time, obviously, I don't even know what the main reasons are for not having qualifying and race on the same day. But for me, if someone does crash in qualifying, I wouldn't want them to miss the race because of it.
Yeah, I mean, they used to have a warm-up back in the 90s, but that was when they had spare cars and things that they could jump into.
T-cars.
Yeah, T-cars, yeah. For me, personally, I saw a lot of people praising it. I wasn't massively sold. I do like the idea, but personally, I still would rather see practice ditched. I'd rather than... So I saw a lot of people saying, oh, I love this format. Let's have practice on Saturday and then qualifying in the race on Sunday. I like that Saturday has, a big thing. And if you want those benefits, just get rid of Friday. Because as we've said so many times on this podcast, the racing's better. I mean, I'm a huge F1 fan. I've followed it for a very long time.
Have you?
Absolutely love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shock.
I would never.
Shock. Who'd have thought?
Sorry, you're the founder of WTF1, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I just don't enjoy practice. It just doesn't do anything for me.
No,
I'm just don't like it.
I love how you've turned around the question of should qualifying and race be on the same day too? I hate practice. Get rid of it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, that I'd rather them get rid of that than try and squidge the qualifying and race on the same day just to get into this 2-day weekend.
Yeah, to be fair, I like the fact qualifying's on Saturday because it is a race weekend then, isn't it? You have something to look forward to on the Saturday and you have something to look forward to on the Sunday as well. And I think that qualifying and race takes up a lot of your time as well. Like you're kind of hanging around, especially if the qualifying is on at 12 p.m. and then you've got the race at 5. You're kind of just like, oh, well, do I go out? Do I not?
I never go out. It's not a problem for me.
But I guess it would also be quite a long day for the spectators as well if you're going to cram in that and then also the support races and everything else. That would be, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, despite all the kind of very the big backlash from a lot of fans and drivers that seem to not be happy about F1 trying to mix up the schedule. Personally, I would quite happily see the odd race.
Yeah,
different weekends. You've got 22 races next year.
Yeah.
I'd happily,
if you have a qualifying race at some,
qualifying race at some. Next time there's one race where they don't do Friday practice. The next one maybe they put them on the same day. Yeah,
keep
I'm
it
happy
fresh.
to keep it fresh. Mix
like
it
a
up a bit.
mystery
Why
box.
not?
They don't know what they're actually going to get until they get there. Oh, we're having 5 races on Saturday and no races on Sunday. Free practice on Sunday.
It was quite funny with the with Saturday being cancelled. F1 showed the 2005 Japanese Grand Prix where Kimi wins from 17th on the grid.
YouTube,
And I went on Twitter to tweet something and
went on Twitter
to tweet something.
Wow.
And I noticed that someone had already put it, so I didn't actually end up tweeting it. But it was, I think it was Glenn Freeman from Autosport had tweeted it and had exactly the same idea that was them showing that race as almost like reverse grid propaganda to like get all the fans to go, oh, actually, this is a brilliant idea. All the rubbish cars are at the back. And all the best cars are at the back, and it's amazing race. So I don't know.
Interesting. Well, so are we a fan of Super Sunday then in general, or would I wouldn't like to see it implemented for every single
as the occasional
race.
thing? I would enjoy it. I enjoyed it this
weekend.
weekend.
For the ones that are maybe not 2 a.m. starts for us. Maybe it's as I say, a 12 and a 4, just occasionally.
Right. Why do you hate Australia so much?
Because it's early. Really, really early. Right, Tommy, 3-word race review. Talk to me.
Bottas Favour returned.
Now, when you were writing this, I thought Bottas blushes spared would have been so much better. What do you think, Dan? Which one was better?
I think Tommy's is better.
Right. So
get out.
So yeah, saw some reaction to this again. People going, "Oh, you Hamilton fanboy, and why do you hate Bottas so much?" Which I'm sure Jess will appreciate. She's
not
not
messaging you saying that.
Saying this because I basically put this on my Twitter that there's no denying that Bottas deserved the race. He was absolutely brilliant. He was back to this 2.0 Bottas. Like, he had so much pace, got an amazing start, but Hamilton there's no doubt in my mind that Hamilton could have won that race by staying out. And if he had, Mercedes would have finished 1-2, not 1-3. Yep. So although it's a difficult decision for Mercedes because it would screw Bottas. He's driven this amazing race, and then everyone would be with their pitchforks going, "Why are you screwing Bottas all the time?" They would have got a better result, in my opinion, than if they hadn't pitted Hamilton. And also, there's no doubt in my mind that if Rosberg was still the title challenger, there's absolutely no way Hamilton would have pitted.
No, not with. Obviously, he's got a huge lead in the championship, and it's something that he can.
He knows he's going to win it.
Afford to let go. But obviously, we had a lot of insight from AWS Insights and their amazing tyre graphic, which was quite possibly the least insightful thing I've ever seen.
Was there a question about that later? Should we just jump onto that question now?
I mean, if you can find, Sebi.
Yeah,
I mean, at Sebi99. Do you like the new Tyre Life graphics? I honestly hate them since they are really in no way reliable. It's clearly it's another way for AWS to get their what noise was that? AWS to get their sponsor stuff in, which fine, okay, they're thinking of new innovative ways to inform the fans, but unfortunately, there's no informing actually happening. No. It's more of a case of. Right, so we've spoken to Pirelli, and they say that these tyres will last X amount of laps, and the rears are going to degrade more than the fronts, and maybe the left side more than the right side.
Exactly.
So they've just gone, okay, Hamilton is catching Vettel, which we saw on the soft tyres. Or was it soft? It was soft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But his rears are on 10%.
That's exactly what I wrote down in my notes. It said that Hamilton had 10% on his rear tyres, and Vettel had something like 40, and Hamilton was going like 2 seconds a lap quicker than Vettel. The fact that they are just essentially, I don't like that graphic because they are essentially just guessing it. And regardless of how good a driver is on their tyres and how bad they are on their tyres, it's always going to be the same information.
Yeah.
So someone might have brilliantly saved their tyres, gone for this massive long stint, and the graphic, I wonder if someone does that, the graphic will be like, you've got a puncture.
Yeah.
All 4 tyres are on. Apparently, no, you've actually got no tyres left. They've disintegrated and they're on fire, but you're
that's going to happen at some point. If they continue with that and they'll just cut to a car that then just gets a puncture and then it goes 80% tyre life.
That's going to be
What did you make of it, Dan?
No, I didn't like it. I mean, I get why they're doing it. They're trying to sort of give more information, but the information is misleading and it's not correct.
Yeah, because they've clearly extracted it from the F1 game and gone, this is exactly what F1 game players see. Let's put it in the race. But there's no real-time data behind it.
No. It's just machine learning estimates based on data from 3 days ago or however many, whatever. I don't know.
It's because we know how accurate Pirelli are with their estimates. Not at all. They go, oh, the softs can go 15 laps, and then they go 25. And and it all comes down, as you say, to the driving styles and things like that.
Yeah,
so
exactly. The amount of times that they've promised 2-stop races and huge tyre deg, and then Grosjean does 50 laps on the super soft or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been a minus 70% sure.
Yeah,
if that
exactly.
graphic had come up for that. But back to the Bottas thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Hamilton could have easily won that race, I think, because he was pushing, and I remember the team radio when he came in. He was like, right, push now, and he was like, what do you think I've been doing for the last 15 laps or whatever? But if he's managing his pace a little bit more, 100% he could stay out. I reckon Bottas would have probably caught him, but
Sorry,
he would have
I'm just laughing at that screen because I forgot you didn't put any notes on your screen, and it's just a picture of Alan Partridge eating a Toblerone.
Well,
so it just caught my eye, and it just made I couldn't stop laughing.
Do you want to show the camera, Dan, to people that are
we'll
wondering?
flash it out.
I can.
There you go. Boom. But back to my point.
Great content. Sorry.
Toblerone. God, Tommy, you're so distracted. I think that Hamilton probably would have been under pressure from Bottas, but he wouldn't have finished third.
No, I think by pitting him, you basically said, right, Hamilton, you might get Vettel for second, but you'll probably finish third.
And we literally need to save Bottas.
But just from a team perspective, and then if they'd left him out, it would have been, this will probably be a 1-2. You're not going to get, you might get caught by Vettel, but you might not. So
I did see on Sky, I think it might have been James Allison was at Brackley. I think they interviewed him afterwards. And one of the reasons which, like, to be fair to Mercedes, they said, if they'd have done this, Bottas may have been catching Hamilton. And it just gives them, when they've already pretty much won the constructors, the driver's title is stitched up, gives them like unnecessary stress when Bottas is going to be going, you've screwed me. Both the drivers will be arguing. Bottas might want to go for a move on Hamilton, might get a risky move, and they crash into each other. So
it was the safe option.
They played it very safe, basically, and they were lucky in the end that Hamilton got the fastest lap point
to win. Well,
just to win. I know they were going to win it anyway, but it secured it. So.
Yeah, interesting, but a bit disappointing because it wasn't.
Would have made it a better race.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the most interesting battle for the lead. Obviously, Bottas just checked out, and Vettel was kind of slow, especially towards the end of his stints when the tyres started to go away quicker on the Ferrari than they did on the Mercedes. But yeah, I kind of sat there going, hold on, so Bottas is going to have to overtake Hamilton for the win? Because originally they had told him that, hadn't they? They said, Bottas, right, you've pitted again. Hamilton's now going to stay out. You're going to have to pass him to win. Was it something like that? I mean, if I was Bottas, I'd been like, huh?
Because I think, I know Bottas was, obviously drove absolutely amazingly well. But I think, I feel like Hamilton was led to believe he was on a one-stop. So he wasn't exactly going hammer time every single lap. So
interesting.
And if you look at the people that did do a one-stop in the midfield, it was all the midfield drivers that had a good race. So Sainz, Ricciardo, Gasly. So it was very much possible. I think the commentators at one point said that, I haven't got the exact number of laps, but I think it may have been Sainz. They said maybe did 29 laps and all Hamilton had to do was 31.
Right.
So it wasn't going to hit the cliff.
Yeah, I remember seeing sort of towards the end of Hamilton, just before he pitted, the gap from him to Sainz was quite similar. So I don't know if maybe the Mercedes was hurting its tyres more or if Hamilton was just saving more at that point.
Well, speculation, but yeah. I think
just Hamilton, like the graphics.
Yeah. Right, my 3-word race review now was Wake Up Stewards. I actually commented that on the Instagram post that we put up every single race
of course
weekend,
you did.
saying, whatever your 3-word race review is, and people got very angry with that, but I think they were just misunderstanding what I really was meaning, because I think people actually thought I was complaining that Charles got a penalty, and that's not the case at all. It was more the fact that just wake up and make some decisions and make the right ones as well. That clear as day, right ones. Some of them anyway. I know Tommy has a differing opinion on one particular incident, which we'll get into. At Smid Suzuki, what's your opinion on the steward's decision to investigate the Leclerc Verstappen incident after the race? Now, for me, I didn't like any of the process that went on with that entire incident. For one, it's absolutely clear as day that Leclerc has wiped out Verstappen.
Yep.
Like there's no way that you go, okay, it's a racing incident. Verstappen's turned in on him or anything like that. I know
he couldn't have left him more room on the inside.
And I love the team radio when Verstappen gets told that there's that stage 1 there's no investigation, and he genuinely, you could hear in his voice, he was absolutely perplexed as to why it wasn't being investigated. And I just love that sort of brutal honesty from his team radio. So obviously, first stage not being investigated, and then obviously they've seen the backlash from the teams and everything else and gone, okay, we probably should investigate this.
Apparently, the reason for that, I read today that an investigation was reopened because of new evidence.
What, they opened their eyes?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because you watched the replay, you saw Leclerc clearly got some dirty air from Vettel's car and understeered straight into Verstappen. What more? I think this is something you said as well, and we've said in so many podcasts. If that's the case, what does speaking to Charles Leclerc after the race do? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It's his fault. That's it.
There's
End of.
Those kind of incidents, you don't need telemetry or anything like that to be able to make a decision.
Probably this is the point of the driver stewards that are up there to go, yes, this is what's happened from a driving perspective. And then the stewards.
Yeah, otherwise, what's the point of having the driver representative steward? Yeah. Because they should be a racing driver that can put themselves in the driver's shoes from a non-biased perspective.
Yeah.
Because are you telling me that if, Charles, to his credit, said, I messed up, I ruined Verstappen's race, sorry. But if Charles had gone, I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? Would the steward's gone, no, you didn't actually, did you? No. That's fine.
Well,
you didn't crash into him.
When you drive for that red team, apparently you have a bit more assistance than others. But Yeah, it is not me. Other people claim it.
Yeah, I know.
FIA, Ferrari International.
And then when
Assistance.
Mercedes win, they're the favourites, and then when Red
Yeah.
Bull win, they're the favourites.
Yeah, whenever
there's a
has
there's a
any
pattern
kind
emerging.
of advantage in inverted commas, but yeah, because then we had the 20 or however many laps it was where they were under investigation.
I don't understand this. I mean, other series. So, for instance, like the DTM, I'm pretty sure sometimes I've seen the graphic come up saying incident under investigation before the incident's actually finished happening. And then within like a lap, they make a decision.
Yeah.
The penalty is taken and then the race carries on. By delaying it the whole race, that affected the way Ferrari might have run their race if they'd known he'd got a penalty for it sooner.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and exactly that. They pitted Leclerc for the fastest lap, which then put him within striking distance of Carlos Sainz. Of Danny Rick. So, for me, I just don't get it, because however many laps
it should
was,
be
and then it's
sorted
after the race.
in the race.
And for something so clear as day, I just don't understand what
I can
they
understand
possibly have wanted.
last 2-3 laps that you need to do it after the race,
yeah.
but lap 1 of a race,
yeah,
it's an
like,
hour and a half long race.
If they were stewarding Le Mans and an incident happened on the first lap, would we have to wait a day to
24
find
hours,
out what happened?
Yeah,
So
it's
true.
insane.
And Juan Pablo Montoya made a really good point in our latest YouTube video where he was saying about how the stewards react to different incidents depending on where they happen on the track in terms of position-wise. So near the front of the field, they make an enormous deal out of it. If that's Grosjean going into the side of Perez, Grosjean's getting a 10-second penalty before he's through turn 4.
Yeah.
Like, there's or 50, it was only 5 seconds that they gave Leclerc as well for absolutely destroying Verstappen's race.
I do slightly understand that, though, because they've always been a bit more lenient on the first lap.
On first lap collisions, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the thing with Leclerc, I think the 5-second penalty was fair. I don't think it should have been a harsh penalty, because essentially he got understeer. I know his responsibility; it was a mistake from him, but it is a bit different on the first lap.
He had
so
understeer, but I think there was a bit of desperation in there as well.
Yeah,
because he'd got a terrible start.
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah,
as
we
soon as
said
I
this,
saw
didn't we?
them going side by side, I was like, "There's going to be contact here."
And the fact that it's Max and Charles, they've got a bit of beef this
They've got
season, and they're really trying to one up each other as being the next superstar, aren't they? And it's showing every time those two are wheel to wheel, whether they're crashing or what, something's happening.
Exactly. At F1aholic says, why are the stewards so inconsistent? Technically, you could argue that they are consistently inconsistent. So what?
I don't know. I wouldn't say. I think this race is a bit of a anomaly where they drop the ball a little bit. I've said it in quite a few of the recent podcasts that I do like the approach that they're going with. The whole
I agree too.
let this go, Albon. But I do like that they've done that.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that they're allowing them to race, but I guess obviously we had that whole inconsistency when they did change their approach, but that was from, I guess, the people that didn't really understand that they had changed their approach, so they're going, why did Vettel get a penalty for this? And then, there's Monza and all that controversy. But yeah, I know what you say, like the stewards drop the ball, but why are they dropping the ball? They're the F1 stewards. They should have a clear-cut system rather than, I guess, because it's the thing of like, okay, this collision gets a 5-second penalty, which they decide in 3 laps. Why does something so clear as day as Charles versus Max have to take a whole race? Like that's the inconsistency that just shouldn't happen. They should have to make a decision. And people, I know the argument is, oh, well, we don't want them to make a decision that's wrong. But the rules are there. Like, look at the rules, go, okay, he's hit him off, penalty.
Maybe because they were doing qualifying as well, that they were just like tied at the end of the day. Like, I've
they
already
just
done
having a snooze.
qualifying. Do I have to really steward this race as well? Come on.
I am aware we are ranting a little bit, so I apologise. But I think people like us ranting, especially against the stewards. And what I also found weird was that they then decided to slap another 10-second penalty on him after the race for something completely different, which was to do with his wing coming off. Driving a dangerous car, which I didn't realise was under investigation anyway. I thought it was just the incident, no?
It sounded like there was confusion between Martin saying that Ferrari said they were going to pit him, so that's why maybe the stewards didn't give him the black and orange flag.
Yeah.
And then and then Charles was very adamant that he was like, no, it's fine, we'll carry on.
Yeah, but then obviously Charles can't see the damage. from where he's sitting, so his car feels okay, so he doesn't want to pit because it will ruin his
Yeah.
race. And then he's told to pit again on the second lap, and it comes off. So then maybe Ferrari think,
Well,
Oh,
that's when Ferrari came over and
well, the
went,
damage is gone, so carry on.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
they were told, no, you've got to pit him.
which was
That was scary as well.
that
wasn't
I
it?
did
That
not
was-
feel comfortable watching.
No,
that.
that was awful.
No.
Especially when you've got it's such a high speed track in the last sector, and it came off obviously going down the straight into
Yeah.
Hamilton's face pretty much. And you look at, I've said it in IBR, which you guys wouldn't have seen yet, but you know you've got incidents like Massa, you know, of where
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
small spring wasn't it that came off Barrichello's car
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and hit him. Obviously, he was very unlucky, but this is a massive piece of end plate which is flapping off. Ferrari would have seen that immediately,
Yeah.
but
And
I
I
guess
know
it's not
they've-
down to
Even
them.
if
Is
it
it
hadn't
to,
come off, the wing could have failed, and then he could have just understeered into the wall at 130R.
yeah,
or
it could
something
have been like
that.
a Vettel in Bahrain. You know, it could have gone under the car or whatever.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you're doing that into 130R, that you're going straight into that wall, and it's pretty. Yeah, you could have an absolutely horrendous accident. And also, I know they've got the halo, but that doesn't
That doesn't stop.
doesn't
No,
stop
no.
it. I mean, the halo, the way it's shaped, it doesn't cover everything.
Especially if it comes in at an angle.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
anything.
Yeah.
It could have been awful.
It could have been. And I was sat there going, this is going to be a disaster. And especially when I know it's a glorious.
Okay, we are.
Okay, hold on. We need to walk around a second. Okay, we're back in the light now. And yeah, I think we were all in the same kind of opinion that wasn't cool.
No.
And I think for me, the steward should be on the phone immediately going, you have to pit. Like
Yeah.
They look at that, they go, that's dangerous, get in the pits. Because especially when you've got that clip, I remember now, that's what I was about to say, where obviously very impressive, great, you know, Charles Leclerc going 130R one-handed whilst holding his wing mirror down.
Yeah.
That in itself, I mean, come on, you're going in the pits, please.
Yeah.
Because that wing mirror, that could fly off into the crowd. That
Yeah.
could fly off anywhere.
Yeah.
Wasn't cool with that. So 10-second time penalty was the very least,
Yeah,
in my
I
opinion.
agree.
Dan, do you know, because me and Tommy don't, do you know how many points he got for the whole
I'm
thing?
not sure if Leclerc got
Penalty
any
points?
points.
You
Penalty
didn't get any
points,
points?
but no.
Oh,
Strange
interesting.
that. Yeah.
Because usually they do.
I think
for collisions, don't they?
I think probably because it was a first lap penalty, I think they went a bit lenient on it.
Okay.
And the damage thing, I think they were more annoyed with Ferrari than
For
Charles.
not calling their driver.
Yeah,
Right.
But to be
And that's
fair,
what they
he
got
did
fined as well,
disobey
didn't they?
them a little bit.
a little
But then
bit,
they
yeah.
changed their mind. If you listen to the team radio,
Well, yeah, he was like, I want to come in.
I
No,
wanna
I don't
come
want to
in.
come in. And then they said, come in. And then they went, no.
and then
no, no.
and then he said no, and then he said no, actually do come in, and then Ferrari were like no.
Yeah.
It was
Ye-
chaos.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Decisive.
Another interesting little Ferrari incident that we need to talk about, which has caused a lot of discussion. I say discussion in a very loose term, usually just throwing insults online. But at XY Tricks, does the jump start ruling need clarification? It seems Vettel only got off because of the transponder when to the human eye he clearly jumped the start, even if he immediately stopped. I know that we have differing opinions in this room,
Yeah.
so this should be an interesting little tussle. But for me, yeah, it's an odd one because you sit there. I didn't actually notice it really when you had the straight down the line.
Oh no, you couldn't
No.
tell from that, could you?
But a fan video was the thing that kind of hit me as it's a bit dodgy. What is going on outside? I don't know if you're getting any of this.
No,
noise on
you
the
probably won't show
microphones,
up,
but yeah, it was the fan video where you could see how far he's gone forward, even though it doesn't really look that much on the point of view camera. You can see how much he moves forward, stops, and then goes again. Now I know it's within the rules what happened, but for me, I still think that should, if it isn't at the moment, be a jump start.
I agree with you on that. That I know it's the rules and there's all this sensor stuff and transponder. If you roll in your grid box, surely you should get a penalty, because what's to say you don't just start slightly behind it, roll forward during the lights and then go?
Yeah.
It just seems odd to me when it's so obvious. It wasn't like the Bottas one in Austria where it looked like as the lights went out and it was really close, he moved when there were 5 red lights on.
Yeah.
So
I
Go
think
on.
it's completely different scenarios. But Dan, you have a slightly different opinion.
You can't say that you've gone to penalise a car because it moves before the light's gone out, because otherwise you'd be getting probably penalties for some driver or another at every single race, because when drivers engage the clutch or different start maps, the cars will roll to varying degrees. So there's got to be a tolerance in there to allow for some movement. I'll admit that the amount Vettel moved
Yeah.
stayed within that tolerance surprised me, because
So when you first saw it, did you think that would be a penalty?
I did think that would be a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the FIA have that tolerance, and they don't say what it is, because obviously if they say, oh yeah, you're allowed to roll 30 centimeters
do
or
that
move
exact-
for 2
Yeah,
tenths,
okay,
everyone will
that's
start doing it.
Yeah.
So for them to keep it a secret, it's fair enough, and not want to explain too much into why he didn't get a penalty. Whether that tolerance is too big maybe needs to be looked at, but I think if the FIA say that Vettel didn't jump the start according to their rules and their data, I think it's just a black and white issue, and you can't really.
It's maybe something that, say, like, somewhere in the midfield that might happen in a few races.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's such a high profile thing where the driver on pole has moved, I think that's brought this issue into the into this big discussion.
Yeah, because I don't think we wouldn't be losing our minds if Robert Kubica at the back of the grid as well did it and had a little roll.
I would, because he wasn't on the grid, he was in the pit lane.
Okay, well, fair.
Wow.
All right, thanks, Dan.
The
Can always rely on you.
There's something quite interesting actually when F1 just recently. I've just watched F1 shared a video of the start, and I've got a theory of Bottas's start. That watching it, if you proper like pause play, like
Freeze
frame it,
yeah.
I'm entitled to believe that Bottas reacts to Vettel, and that's why he gets such a good start. So he sees Vettel go, who obviously moves just before the red lights go off.
Yeah.
Bottas sees Vettel moving, and Valtteri goes, and the lights go off literally the millisecond as he moves. So it's almost worked perfectly for Valtteri that he's seen Vettel move, almost like reacted because he's seen the car in front go, and the lights have changed at like the perfect time.
So how is that not anticipating the lights or seeing?
Because
there
was probably
Enough of a delay.
like the Austria one where there's enough of it's done on human, like a physical
Reaction
human
time,
can not react within 0.0000, but they can react within 0.0002, even though it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
So even if you do that,
you're still not
and
jumping
anticipating you're not jumping the start, it's an odd one.
Interesting. It's a very, very strange ruling, but it's not something we'll probably speak about.
Yeah, it's one of those problems that comes up and everyone's confused and outraged, but it'll probably never happen again.
That's the problem,
for
though.
several years.
It happened with Kimi, literally the race before.
That was a
Russia.
proper jump
Yeah,
start.
that
Yeah,
was a
he
proper
rolled
one,
a
but
lot.
Yeah.
Very
obviously, a lot of
powerful.
people were comparing the two and going, "What's the difference?" But the difference was Kimi's absolutely gone out of his grid box, past the transponder thing, and that's the difference between why he got a penalty, a big one, and Vettel got nothing.
Yeah.
So, right, moving on. No more moaning. Maybe. Who knows?
Well,
Let's talk about the next incident, which was Albon. He had a great race, I'd say, for him. Not in a horrible way, but in terms of
It was
P4,
a good weekend, yeah.
he had a bad start, losing 2 positions to both of the McLarens,
Yeah.
which he doesn't seem to be very strong on his starts, does
I
he?
think it's just a Red Bull thing in general, and
Yeah.
the McLaren seems to be particularly good at the start as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he fell behind both McLarens, but got past them. One of them was an interesting move. At Mariam_HC says, Albon deserved a penalty, right?
No,
And this was when he went past Lando.
yeah, I don't think he did. I
Not
think that
at
was
all,
that was a strong move.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like borderline, but it was a move that within these new stewarding regulations, if you like. So after what Verstappen did to Leclerc in Austria, with his banging wheels, they're giving a little bit of leeway for these forceful moves, and they banged wheels on the side. They didn't. It wasn't like Albon on an F1 game used him as a brake and rammed into the back of him to
I
get
feel
the
like he did a
move.
little bit.
No,
He
did use
bumped
it a
on the
little
side, and I think he would have made the corner.
yeah.
And I think Lando himself didn't actually put too much complaint in. I don't know whether that was
Yeah.
because it's Albon and they're proper chums. But
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I saw them in the interview pen and they were like bantering a little bit, but I don't think Lando would really have been like, well, what the hell are you doing? If that's for the lead, I guarantee that's a completely different story.
yeah,
And Lando
but
would be
I think-
on the,
I
he
think
was on the phone
Lando's-
anyway, wasn't he? Saying,
Yeah.
oh, blah, he pushed me off the track.
but there are quite a few quotes from him afterwards that said like that was a pretty ballsy move and fair enough.
Yeah.
Didn't
he
really
said he
affect
didn't
my
want him
race.
to get a penalty for it after the race. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was just over the line. I thought it was close, but I think that I felt it was a little bit too hot. I think he went in a little bit too hot, personally, for me. But it didn't help that Lando didn't see him coming, which obviously accentuated the incident a bit more.
I think that's part of it, because he turned in and didn't realise until literally there was no more room for him to turn in. I think if he'd have seen him a bit earlier, then Albon would have still probably completed the move.
Yeah.
I think Lando would have had to go off the track, though. That's where it's... If he had gone in a little bit slower, maybe fine. But for me, a little bit just over there. Just a 5 seconds. That's all I'm after. Not stop and go.
That's what I want to see from Albon, though. I think that's what Red Bull want to see.
And that's what
I
Red
like
Bull
the
want
fact
to see.
he's going for it.
Yeah,
for sure. I just felt that one was just a little bit too hot, personally.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We're allowed to have differing opinions, right?
Internet.
That's what
learn
happens.
from this.
Yes. Differing opinions. I respect you. Okay, next. Slight confusion at the race end, where we had lap 52 of 53 being the end race results. At Mars_NV, where did Perez finish with 2 ends? He's not finished with 1 end. Come on. What the hell was that ending? I mean, care to explain, Dan? You're the F1 guru. What happened?
The checkered flag on the timing system, not the actual flag. The timing system flag was displayed 1 lap sooner. And
So I love how they've introduced this to hopefully stop having...
no,
when
It's the light, isn't it? There's a little square. They have the safety car and yellow flags and things, and the checkered flag came up on that light.
Yeah,
as well as
That's
obviously
mad.
the timing.
Yeah.
So they have
because
to
for
go.
some reason the checkered flag has this weird power in F1 where if it comes out, the race has to end on that lap.
I guess
because
I
a
understand
human
that.
can't go, oh no, actually there's a lap to go.
But
So
then I guess...
if a marshal trips up on lap 2, picks up the
Throws it.
flag and like kind of just waves the flag.
Oh my God,
That's
imagine.
it. Lap
Imagine
2,
that.
like Sainz is in second.
No,
or
but everyone
something,
would be
and-
disqualified because no one's done their mandatory pit stop.
Oh, and yeah, no one is classified.
So who
And then
would
no
win?
points. Yeah, I mean, it is such a weird one. It happened in Canada when Winnie Harlow.
Yes, I remember
But
that.
to be fair to her, she was told to
Yeah.
wave it a lap early.
No,
Um,
they probably said to her, "You need to wave the flag."
Yeah.
She's gone, "Okay,
Yeah.
now."
And also it happened in China as well. It's happened quite a few times recently.
Years. And in other series as well. It tends to happen at least once a year in some.
And I think it's so noticeable the fact that the results go back. And then this one, the fact that Perez has finished, has essentially crashed into the barrier and then takes a cheeky 9th place.
Yeah.
It's
weird.
naughty, but I can understand why they introduced that rule, because if anyone's race is hindered by even 1/10 of a second, they'll go, "Well, you threw the checkered flag."
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
because if they
they
slow
can't go
down,
over the radio. Don't worry, stop. No, keep going.
it's probably a rule that covers them in case the driver sees it, slows to a stop,
And then
Yeah.
loses
and
the
then
race or something.
loses the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if Leclerc had got fastest lap there and taken the title from
Taken the constructors' title to the next
next
race,
round,
where
and then they
Ferrari
went, no,
will-
actually,
where
we
Ferrari will
screwed up.
obviously have 1-2s for the rest of the season, with Mercedes not scoring 1
Like-
point.
Slightly unrealistic.
Slightly unrealistic. Right. I think, have you got any more points, either of you, on your fact sheets of this race, or can we dive into ABC to EF1?
I've got the jingle ready.
When do you ever have the jingle ready? Will you have the jingle ready in the next 10 seconds? Dan, any more points from you about the Japanese Grand Prix?
It was a race that happened. It was
In Japan?
entertaining on a scale from 1 to 10. And
What would you rate it out of 10?
I'd give it a solid 5, I think.
5. That's a bit harsh, I think.
No, you're doing a proper scale where you actually
Where 1 to 5 is
1 to 5 is
It's-
used,
it's
not 5 is harsh.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, when
You know,
ask-
in game like game reviews and stuff, and they go, "This is the worst game I've ever seen. 5 out of 10." And
Yeah,
you go,
yeah.
No, that means it's 0 out of
Yeah,
10.
because 1 for them is they released a game. 2 is it has characters. 3, and it goes
Yeah.
on like that. So have we got it?
Do we need to pause the camera anyway? Or
No, not yet. But
okay.
I mean, we need to check the camera battery, but that's nothing that the audience needs to hear
Oh,
about.
my phone crashed.
Oh, for God's sake.
Should we just?
No, you're doing it. Okay, so anyway.
What a
Where'd you
what
get
a
the, Where'd you
race!
get the Damon Hill t-shirt from, Tommy?
Oh wow!
Tommy! Oh my goodness
Did you just see that? It just keeps crashing.
Why is your phone so rubbish?
Yeah.
If it doesn't load
Since
this time,
I did the
I'm
iPhone
doing it.
update, it's just been useless.
And now it's time for...
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Forget it.
No, it's just
Forget
not having it.
Right, we're now on to... Well, Tommy, do you have the jingle ready?
I have actually. I've got it right
Oh,
here.
It's
You didn't.
almost like I told you.
Yeah, we didn't even have to cut away or anything.
Play the...
Now it's time for ABCDEF1.
Lovely. Every single time. I absolutely love it. Right, ABCDEF1 time. Let's rate some drivers. Let's start with Mercedes. Let's go straight in. Lewis Hamilton.
C.
Yeah.
C.
Complained a lot.
A lot of
Out-qualified
complaining.
by
He was
Bottas.
just an angry man. I felt.
Outraced.
It was
on
a little bit
Sunday.
like we haven't seen that Lewis for a while, where he goes into that sort of everything going against me. Why are we doing this mode?
Yeah,
Mm.
really really questioning his team decisions.
It's not just questioning it. It was questioning it. Then it was, I want to hear why. Tell me why.
Yeah, can we
Yeah.
just talk about this for a minute?
It's mad how
Let's
it,
have a chat.
it's mad how they're. You just think about it. They're racing at 200 miles an hour, and then he's like, "No, can I get an explanation?" Just whilst he's flying through the S's, like, can I just get a little, just quick explanation if that's all right? You know,
Yeah.
It's absolute madness. So C. Okay, let's go with the C. Valtteri Bottas. A.
A, yeah.
Yeah, I'd go A.
Not A star, but A.
Yeah,
A,
yeah.
Because he didn't qualify great, but he beat Hamilton in qualifying, and then
I was
jumped
just
the start and
thinking
won the
whether
race.
it was like a
Jump the
perfect
start?
race, but
He did. Oh, I guess he did jump the start. I mean, had a good
anticipated
start.
the start. Yeah, is an A. Yeah, let's go for A.
No,
Yeah.
okay. Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel.
I'd say a B.
A B, yeah.
B.
I've got B on here. Epic qualifying. He's very good around Suzuka, but I was surprised at how he just couldn't, after he lost the position to Bottas, how he
Yeah.
was just nowhere.
Just Ferrari just didn't have the
Yeah,
pace.
this-
Yeah,
Ferrari.
there's just never a moment where you thought
It
Ferrari
would have
could
been
win the race
interesting if
after
he
that
had
start.
stayed in the lead on the first lap. That would have made it quite an interesting race.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think
Yeah,
Mercedes would have
definitely.
been all over him. But then, if Charles was out of the picture, he wouldn't have won the race anyway. Because
Yeah, probably
Mercedes
not.
would have just done split
Yeah.
strategies.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and won with Hamilton probably.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to give Vettel an A purely because I think the Ferrari wasn't there in race trim, and he did absolutely everything.
He outqualified Leclerc
the
for the first
car.
time in ages as well.
Outqualified
Yeah.
Leclerc and kept Hamilton behind on lap 51. When
Yes,
he
I
was
think
all over
The only
him.
mistake he made was that start, I think.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe an A is
Yeah,
fair,
I think, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
overturned. I love
Yeah.
it. Absolutely love it. Charles Leclerc, D.
D.
A D,
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult because obviously he had decent qualifying, got out qualified by his teammate, but was second. But I don't know. I mainly leaning towards a C purely because of all the overtakes that he did and the racecraft behind it. I know that he's in a better car.
Only
but
one of those
Suzuka
overtakes was good. The one on Gasly and Spoon.
Yeah,
the rest
but-
of them were just bleh.
Yeah,
But
just
he
like
was
quite
using his
breezing
racing
past.
knowledge in the sense of like getting out of the slipstream to make sure he gets a better run out of the hair.
It was a solid recovery drive.
He
But
did a good move on Gasly,
the Gasly move was very good, yeah.
and then he did a good move on Raikkonen into 130R.
That's
You-
not,
you
no.
don't- That was
That's not-
ballsy.
Nothing that happens at 130R is impressive.
I mean,
Wow.
okay, that's a big statement. Raikkonen was like 2 inches away from his rear wheel as well. I swear that they were so close when they went through 130R. Like
It was
madness.
brave. Like, I know in the grand scheme of things, whether it's a corner, whether it's not even 130 degrees anymore, is it?
No,
It's not
All right, no, let's
130.
give him a D because he drove around with damage as well. Not
Yeah.
happy. Red Bull, Max Verstappen.
I think it's non-applicable.
Not NA rather than
NA.
U because
Yeah,
U is bad.
It's bad.
And NA is
It's
not
just we
applicable.
can't
can't
grade
rate him.
So we'll average him out on that graphic.
We'll give him an A star purely because of his start. That's it. It's not an A star for anyone making their tables because I know there are people out there that are creating these tables, Olympic tables. So we give him an NA. Alex Albon. B.
A B.
Yeah.
God, guys, can we stop agreeing, please? This is weird.
I know, but B, I think he was.
I would
he
have said
messed up his start. I think the fact that he.
I would have said an A, but he was a minute behind the winner at the end.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
it's not an
if
A.
Yeah, it's
Verstappen
definitely
had
not
finished,
an
he
A.
wouldn't have been as far as a minute behind.
And
And
he was
he would have finished sixth.
It was
Yeah,
his best
for Charles
weekend at
and
Red
Max's.
Bull so far. It was a good.
Yeah,
That's the thing. We
I
say it's
agree.
the best, but then we look at. I think he was more impressive in Belgium because
Oh, probably
It-
because that was his first one, wasn't it?
yeah,
and no one
yeah.
expected him to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, he literally would have finished sixth, probably 30 seconds behind everyone
Yeah.
else.
He's
in front of
doing
him
he's
with,
doing
like,
everything that Red Bull want him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so B,
literally,
fair enough.
as you made that meme, which was about qualifying and
Oh yeah,
stay
we need you to max. Max.
match Max, and he literally
Um,
exactly the same time in Q2, Q3.
No Q3.
Q3, but
yeah,
first run.
But,
Oh
no,
that's the second one.
Q3.
That was
but
the same, wasn't it?
because he said it after he was
Oh,
sixth.
So
So
close.
so close to qualifying.
Renault, Daniel Ricciardo, great drive. A.
No, B.
B because
His
qualifying.
qualifying was dreadful.
His qualifying was dreadful, but he finished seventh.
Yeah, but that doesn't excuse
No,
the
sixth. It's a Charles penalty.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
excuse the qualifying, I don't think.
But he was absolutely banging things in. He had a great start, great stint.
I
in the
guess,
first stint.
yeah, actually, well, I guess if we're giving Albon a B, his drive was a lot better. And I know he did mess up qualifying,
And
but I
he's
guess
in
you
a
have to
Renault.
prioritise the race.
Which technically might be a car that's cheating. So maybe we might have to change this to an ungradable.
I think his drive was really good. And I like the fact as well that Renault did the whole give Danny Rick a go now, and he was like, "Don't worry, I'll
gonna
get
get
them."
Yeah.
And then did. I mean,
immediately.
fair play. In fact,
Yeah.
I think it's an A just
Yeah,
for that radio
right.
message.
I'm
Yeah.
liking this power of. I'm like, I just want to suggest this to the table. And you're like, I accept your feedback. Let's change it. Nice.
We're
A
having
for
we're having
Ricardo.
a constructive
ABC
you know,
WTF1. We are.
a debate.
No fun, is it?
We're
No, we need to argue more. Right, Nico Hulkenberg, B.
C.
Where did
He
he
got a
finish?
good start, didn't he? That was quite a
We
mega
went from
start.
15th to 10th, so that's not too
His start was lit.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
went
Have you
round
seen
the-
the
I
start.
don't think I've seen this
Oh,
stuff.
he
it was
went
really good.
round the outside of about
He got
four
a great
people.
start and then genuinely had an absolute car width and no more going past Giovinazzi, I think, going into turn one, and it was wince-worthy. But yeah, it's great, and he went all the way around the outside, and then he gained like 5 positions in the first lap
Right.
around Suzuka.
B.
B.
Haas, Romain Grosjean. Where
These
was
are
he?
always so difficult
Where
to.
was he?
He qualified 10th and finished like 12th, I think. He was sort of
15th.
he was sort of
He finished 15th,
no, did
15th.
he? I thought
He must have dropped back at the
Yeah.
end.
like all the Haas.
I feel like he did a good job this weekend. Put the Haas in Q3 and
Oh yeah, that is
and,
fair.
um,
Yeah.
he's normally quite good at Suzuka, so I'm inclined to think he probably got a fair amount out of the car. Plus, he built a Tyrrell P34 on his day off, which has got to be worth a grade up as well.
Oh, we're not giving any grades for what they did on their day off.
I don't know. We have done that before. C.
C at best, I think. If we're going to go, let's go.
Yeah, I
with
don't
C.
think you got to
yeah.
give him for qualifying.
Yeah, 'cause
Kevin Magnussen.
We can't give
gets-
him a B
yeah,
for 15th. Kevin Magnussen finished 17th.
D. If that,
D. Yeah.
he crashed in qualifying as well.
Oh, E.
F.
F.
F. I
Yeah.
mean,
If Grosjean's
fair.
getting a C, Magnussen needs
F.
a lot worse a grade because
Yeah.
he.
I think he even admitted himself that he had a rubbish weekend.
McLaren. Carlos Sainz. A.
A
star.
star.
What more could he
Where
have
did he
done?
qualify?
Yeah, that's I wrote this
qualified
actually and
fifth?
said A
No,
star,
fifth.
epic start, nearly got Hamilton.
Where did he qualify? 7th. He
Sixth.
must have
Uh,
been 7th.
sorry,
Best-
seventh.
yeah, best
Yeah,
of the rest.
sorry, seventh, and almost got into third,
4th.
fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4th. 4th, because it'd been Vettel, Bottas. Sorry, Bottas, Vettel, Leclerc at the time. And then
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
Leclerc had the problem. So yeah, almost got
good
into
start.
fourth. Perfect start. Made his one stop work. Had he actually had such good pace that it stopped Leclerc from going to like basically giving up. Leclerc gave up his charge to kind of catch Sainz
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Sainz had such good pace. Otherwise, Leclerc wouldn't have pitted for the fastest lap
right, yeah,
because he just gave up on that. He was
Mega.
on 4.
amazing, and yeah, he is driving so well. He is one of the drivers of the season. He
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
When his car's not
consistently
breaking or it's not
really
being
good.
hit, he's the best
Mm.
midfielder by
Yeah,
a
yeah,
mile.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A star.
I think both McLaren drivers, in fairness, have their weekends where they
Yeah.
just check out.
Only
And-
one of them seems to have a good weekend at once. The other one's having
Yeah.
like really
Yeah,
You
bad
don't
so
see
ones.
those
true.
two really racing each other, do you? It's either
No.
one's been hit or whatever. So it's
Yeah.
crazy. Lando.
He had a bit of a. He couldn't make his tires last. I know he was really unlucky because he got screwed by the debris He
I saw
actually-
that.
he
They had
actually-
stuff in his brakes, right?
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I had to pit.
from Leclerc.
Yeah.
So from that flying off, he had to pit. It wasn't anything to do with the Albon incident. He pitted just coincidentally straight
Mm.
after that. He's just been very unlucky. He does have good pace, and he's not that far from Carlos, who's doing an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
Even the start, he was unlucky where I think he got a better start than Sainz, and he was going around the outside, just slightly ahead, and maybe would have had the inside for the next corner. But because Verstappen and Leclerc crashed, he had to back out, and then Sainz went past him. And yeah, it's just a bit unlucky, really.
Difficult. So,
C.
I'd
C?
say a C.
Yeah, C.
okay. Racing point, Sergio Perez. He was doing all right.
You kind of like
Finished ninth.
It's kind
even
of
though
like
he finished
Ricardo,
in the wall.
really. He had the terrible qualifying and then a really good race.
Yeah.
It was kind of like,
Ended up in the wall, but still finished 9th.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he did do it trying to go around the outside of Gasly at turn 2, which is,
Yeah.
if you're going to crash out, that's a good way to go, I think.
It's a good way to go.
Maybe.
Bleep
There's
me
my.
up.
Huh?
You with your water.
Can you timestamp that for the audience?
B?
B for ballsy.
Yeah, I'd go for a B.
Okay.
Maybe Perez saw the checkered flag light
And was
and
like,
was like,
"Let's go
doesn't
for it."
matter now.
Yeah.
I'll get this position regardless. I'm going to just go for this outrageous
fans.
move around the outside to just please the fans.
Yeah, fair
Well
play.
done.
Lance Stroll, C?
I'd say C.
I thought it was funny how Stroll, everyone said he's a bit of a Sunday driver because he's really bad at qualifying. And then they did qualifying on a Sunday and he got it into
Q2. I think he was
Two?
like 12th, was he on the grid or something?
Yeah. And Perez was 19th or 18th, something like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Finally,
Sundays is just his
Sunday,
day.
just
Yeah.
Sunday, he can qualify.
He has his
for the
race
race.
and he's absolutely ready. Alfa Romeo, Kimi Raikkonen.
D.
D.
But D for both the Alphas.
I
They're
don't
just,
remember seeing them in the race at all, pretty much.
No, Alpha have just
it's
dropped
weird that-
off the
Yeah, they
cliff.
have dropped off because they were really quite impressive, especially with Raikkonen in the first half of the season. But it seems like Giovinazzi has come strong. The cars got worse.
Yeah.
And so has Raikkonen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an odd one. But
A
I think
weird one.
Giovinazzi, for me, has proved himself in the second half of the season to at least have another year.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
Yeah. Would you agree, Tommy?
Yeah, I would.
You kind of went.
No, I agree that he's a better prospect than Hulkenberg as well.
So we're going to go for C. Ooh. C.
So we won't carry on with that. Maybe
Ooh.
next
Oh my
podcast.
God, that's a whole podcast in itself. C's for Raikkonen and Giovinazzi.
I might say
D's?
D's.
Sorry,
Did
D's.
Giovinazzi
D's.
finish ahead of Raikkonen?
Yeah. No, sorry. No, he was 16th.
Okay, so D's.
D's for
D.
both of
Pair
them.
of D's. Toro Rosso, Danny Kvyat.
D.
D.
He was just
Nowhere.
nowhere,
Really
really,
enormous,
especially
yeah.
when Gasly
Really
was so
outperformed by
impressive.
Gasly.
Yeah.
Massively.
Which is crazy. You just, what is going on with Gasly? So what are we going to say for Kvyat?
D.
D.
Where did he qualify, Kvyat?
Like 14th or 15th or something.
I was like, 26th? No, that's his race number. 14th.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
unimpressive.
14th and finished 12th. Just
Okay, let's go
not
with
great.
D. Pierre Gasly,
A, I think.
Yeah, definitely an A.
solid A. Where did he qualify?
He qualified 9th, so he got in
Yeah, in
Q3,
Q3, yeah.
and just raced at the
Date there, pretty much.
race at the front. Yeah,
Yeah.
Really good.
fair
Nice.
play to him.
All right. So we'll give a B to A to
A to
sorry.
Gasly. Yeah.
Williams, George Russell.
Oh God,
How do you rate him?
how do you rate him?
How do you
B.
ever rate these people?
His fastest lap was a second quicker than Kubica, if that's
Shock.
anything.
Kubica was probably on one
Um,
lap of fuel on soft tyres as well. And
Like, do you
Russell's on.
give him an A and Kubica an E, or do you give them like C and D? You just you don't.
Yeah, it's so
I think it's
so
a
hard
B,
to
a B
judge.
for Russell,
Solid B. Can't go wrong with a B.
Yeah,
and then a C for Kubica.
Oh,
No, worse.
C
F.
for Kubica.
F.
F.
he crashed.
yeah, he
He
crashed in
binned it in
qualifying.
qualifying.
F.
And personally, I'm not a fan of how sort of bitter this is getting between
Yeah.
Kubica and Williams about him complaining about his wing and why did they retire me with this from the
Just
last
get
race.
over it, lad.
Like,
You know, it should be this nice fairy tale story that
like,
he's
you've got
come
4
back.
races left. Try and
Enjoy the rest of your
Yeah.
F1 career.
or
yeah.
just let someone else have a go.
Yeah, they're not
Thing.
even
Yeah.
fighting for points. Just enjoy racing for the last 4 times
Yeah.
of your career.
It's
Yeah.
odd.
Okay, predictions for Japan. This is what we went for. So I said Charles Leclerc 5 poles in a row. Close, but no cigar. What were you going to say?
I
then?
thought we were doing predictions for the next race. I was like,
No,
No,
because that's not happened. No, this is for Japan. So that was half a point, Tommy?
It's close, isn't it?
No, just with
I'm looking at how if I can get half a point for anything.
No,
No, we could
it's
get
not
half a point.
It's not half a point for
Oh,
Charles Leclerc 5
okay.
poles in a row because we're not going to do that because Jess will kill us in the next one. Verstappen will crash at some point during the race weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a full wholesome point if I've ever seen it. Jess, you went for someone will try a ballsy move through spoon.
Yeah.
Good work, Jess.
Yeah.
Well
That's
done.
definitely a point.
I think Hulkenberg was one of the best moves through spin. I feel like he made a ballsy move.
Okay.
And
And
sharp.
Rugby World Cup will be mentioned. Now, I don't think it was Rugby World Cup. They were playing hand egg in the pits during Saturday. No, Friday.
Mm.
But I've heard that they were actually talking about Australian rugby or something.
I think they used the Rugby World Cup hashtag or something at one point. One of the teams did. So
Well, she's not here. So what do we do?
just give the points to Dan. She doesn't get them.
Yeah, she's not here. By the way, just
need
if
to
you're
get some
wondering
points.
where is Jess, she just couldn't be bothered to come on the podcast because Bottas won. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
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 It made her it made her ill.
It literally made her. She's been off sick since Bottas won. That's not true. Just so you're aware. But I'm sure Jess will be back and want to clarify why she was away. But it wasn't because Bottas won. Tommy, your two.
Both Toro Rossos were in Q3.
Wrong.
Half
No,
of
just
them
because
were.
one was. No, you said both.
Yeah. And a fan will show up dressed as a Red Bull can. They didn't.
0 points for you.
I know. A few people sent me some pictures of someone dressed as a Red Bull can. I think it was from like 6 years ago or something.
You're like,
It's like
half. Okay, and the fan said Charlie Base 18. Well, they didn't say that. Charlie Base 18 said Giovinazzi outqualifies Kimi again. Yes.
Yeah.
He did?
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
It's a point. Gameaholic for the win. No Red Bull on the podium.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Elliot Wardle 4. There will be multiple Land of the Rising Sun references by Crofty.
No, he said it once.
That's not multiple.
So you didn't specify.
But
Come
he
on,
did
guys,
specify.
remember.
They said
Well,
multiple.
he overused his
Okay.
power.
Right, so 2 points for the fans. Good job. Right, predictions for Mexico. I have gone for Ferrari to make it 6 poles in a row.
He said
I love-
it's your prediction every week.
Oh, well, I'm still on the Ferrari / Charles. Danny Rick will have some Mexican-style facial hair. He has a beard at the moment, so
Or
I
like
reckon he's going to
shaped
work.
like a taco.
Yeah. Sorry? No.
Yeah, I know what you
God.
meant.
Dan, you have submitted 2 in for Jess. What are your 2?
A midfield team will finish 4th.
Which sounds like a Jess prediction to me. Just standard basic, just going for the points. No, I'm joking, to be fair. I mean, let's hope not. And the other one?
There'll be some kind of ridiculous, really cheesy celebration after the podium.
Well,
Like they're doing
that's basically
Like-
Mexico, isn't it? I mean, we've had a couple.
Like, they'll have like one of those machines that they have for children outside of supermarkets, like a fake Budgie the little helicopter, and the winner will be forced to ride it on the podium.
Okay,
Can we say you don't get a point if it's a DJ like last year?
Yeah.
yeah?
They're gonna go,
and
it
if
has to
that
be something
happens,
different.
the exact. Whoever is beeping outside, can they shut up? Thank you. If that example that you've just
Yeah. Can I win the whole podcast?
You
thing?
win 1,000,000 points.
Okay, right.
You get unlimited points. And
I'll
Tommy,
make-
your 2?
Hamilton won't take the title in that race.
Okay.
He will win the title. That would be a bold claim. And there'll be some fans with, or at any point in the weekend, Mexican wrestler masks in F1 liveries.
Okay, fair, nice. Okay, and the fans, GPR Burns, a random celebrity will congratulate Lewis over the radio if he wraps up title number 6, which you can pretty much guarantee there'll be someone. Nick eating pizza, someone will wear a sombrero with a halo on top.
That's a good one like that.
And Mansahedge S, no Renault on the grid.
Oh,
Spicy.
We haven't actually mentioned that. So Racing Point lodged a protest against
They lodged it.
Renault.
hard.
They
A big,
lodged it
hard lodge of protest. That was
with a 12-page
12
document or something. Was
12-page
it?
dossier.
yeah,
a
dossier.
Dossier.
That sounds even more scary.
Yeah.
What makes it a dossier?
The level of severity.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it might just be that it's in a ring binder.
You wouldn't
or
have,
something.
No. When you save the file rather than .doc, it's .dos.
.dos.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. MS-DOS.
MS-DOS.
Microsoft Dossier.
Good bants.
Yeah. We're recording this on Monday, by the way. So if by the
If
time we
there's
release
results.
tomorrow or whenever, and they've been disqualified, we didn't know about it.
Yeah. Hope you have enjoyed this WTF1 podcast and the lovely Dan as Jess's replacement. Not a replacement. You are not even a substitute. What are you? What's a good way of saying that you're not a replacement?
A substitute.
Okay. Jess is equal. There you go. Is that? No, that's not right either. Right, cool. Thank you so much for watching / listening. Make sure to give us a 5-star review no matter where you are. And that's pretty much it.
Smash that like button.
I hope you've enjoyed the longer podcast as well. We've heard you. We've heard you loud and clear. And I hope you've pretty much got over an hour's worth of content. So make sure you give us some love. If it's a like, if it's a subscribe, if it's a 5-star, if it's a comment. Any of those. All of those. Okay? Thank you so much. We'll see you in under 2 weeks for the Mexican Grand Prix podcast. And Dan, it's been lovely having you. Tommy,
Thanks for
as always, you know,
Wow,
you're still alive. And I'm Matt. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.